Hi everyone, I'm Amy Figueroa. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be sharing a simple process with you, and it's going to help you to draw better pencil portraits. I've been using this process for years, and I've recently been using it more often with my 100 days project because I chose to make small pencil portraits on 3x5 note cards. And it's been really fun, and I thought that I would share some of my techniques and tricks with you so that you could get something out of them yourself. So please stay tuned, and I am gonna run through my whole process with you on how I make these really beautiful little pencil portraits. We're gonna be doing this one today, and I'm really excited. So let's head on over to the art table and I'll see you there. Hello everybody. So what we're going to use for today's project is some blue painter's tape. I got some new they're called Tortillons, or most people call them blending stumps. But these ones are made out of rice paper, and we're going to be using those. We're going to be using a 3x5 note card paper that I got at the Dollar Tree. Well, I don't think we're going to need scissors after all. Maybe a kneaded eraser and a mechanical pencil. And I'm using this one here with this lead that we have here. And I'll list these in the description. We're going to look on Pinterest and find a face that is interesting, and then I will show you the steps to how I get it onto the paper. Okay, so right now I'm in my Pinterest account and I'm looking for a face that's interesting to me, and I've already looked through these and I've decided that I want to use this one. And most of the Pinterest photos, the way they're formatted, they are about the size of your 3x5 note card. So I want one that's about this size so that I can fit her face and most of her hair into this frame, and I want a little bit of her shoulders. So that's gonna work out really good. So what I'm gonna do now is essentially I'm using my screen of my laptop as my light board, and I'm gonna do some tracing. And this is an age-old technique that is usually done with a light box or a light board, which I do have one of those, but this seems to just be faster with less steps. And easier for me. I've tried several ways and this seems to be the quickest version. So now we have our station here set up, and we need to find a room in the house that's pretty dark so that we can see clearly to trace over and get an outline of her features and her hair and her shoulders, all of that. As you can see in here, it's really bright. And so I'm going to need to take this like into my hallway, is the darkest area of my apartment. So I'm going to do that right now and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so I have moved into my hallway, and it's not pitch dark in here, but it's darker than my art room. So I wanted to show you when I turn up the light on my screen, it's pretty bright. And now I can trace over these details. And let's see if I can get closer. So I'm gonna start just at the top and work my way down. Just take your time on this. I'm moving a little quickly so that the video isn't too long, but please take your time. You're wanting to get the main outline of everything, where her face and hair meet. You need the definition there. You need the outline of each eyebrow very lightly. And this is why mechanical pencils are best for this, because they have a really tiny tip of the pencil, and it helps you to get the very little lines in here. So periodically you can turn down the light and check and see how you're doing. Can you guys see that? Okay, I'm gonna turn my light back up. Keep going. This is a technique that many artists use to get their outline onto the page or the canvas, and then the shading is where all of the skill is shown, and it takes a lot of practice with your shading. You can kind of so she has this highlight lighter down the center of her nose, and I will just gently outline that to show me that that's where I need to put that in when I do my shading later. These things are really cool. It's like a feather headdress. And because there's a lot of detail in the separation of these wings, I should probably go ahead and mark those out so I won't have to spend any extra time trying to match them just by looking. They'll just already be there for me. This technique is to save time, and it is for convenience. Her hair is out here. And then she's got this really pretty neck decoration. I don't know what it is exactly, but sometimes you can't tell what it is you're outlining, but if it's there, outline it. So when there's light and dark shading in the skin, for example, you can see that it's darker. There's a shadow over here. And so I'll just kind of very lightly draw the line where it turns lighter so that I can tell that I need to start darkening things up as I get towards the back here. And I'm gonna turn the light down to see if I got everything. Okay, so her eye, the eye on the right looks super wonky. Let me go back in and fix that. I think that I just didn't go down far enough when I outlined it. And then over here, there's just curls. Curls on hair they're not necessarily hard, but they take quite a bit of time with the shading. And for these small portraits, I'm not going to go into that much detail with the hair. I'm just going to kind of leave them simple, so that if I use them again in collage sheets, that I can add the detail then, or color or whatever. Okay, let's see. Why is her eye so strange? Let me go back and try and fix that again. Let's see. Okay, that's better. Let's see if I can erase. This is a bad eraser. I didn't bring my other eraser. Let me get it really quick. This is a perfect example of why we need this kneaded eraser, because it's like clay and you can shape it to however you want if you haven't used one before, and you can make like a really pointy tip on it so that you can erase in tiny little areas. Okay, let's see. Well, I think that's the best that we're gonna get. It will come together in the shading. Okay, so I have now set up myself to do the shading of the face, and I have made sure that I have a hard and smooth surface to work on so that I don't pick up any bumps of anything underneath when I'm shading. I have my pencil, and I'm going to use these, and we'll get a close-up of these in just a second. And I have a clear view of the reference photo, and so I can look back and forth at it consistently. So when we're shading a face, we're gonna start with the outer edges, and very lightly we're looking at the reference photo and trying to copy as best as we can the shading. We're gonna completely change our perspective, and we're not going to view this as a face. We're going to view this as a variety of shades and tones, and we're going to try and match that the best that we can. This does take practice. I have been doing it for years. So don't get frustrated if it does not come out exactly like you want it at first. So now that I have a little bit of shading on there, I'm gonna open these up. And they have like this little tail on the end. I'm just gonna clip that off. And now I'm gonna use these to blend. I'm kind of going in a circular, tight little circular motion right now. I'm not really pressing down on the paper. I'm kind of like skimming the surface because this paper from the 3x5 note card is not the greatest quality, and if you rub it like a little too much, it'll start to just disintegrate and that's not good. But there's a lot of back and forth on matching shading and tones, and these little guys, they on this 3x5 paper, they seem to unravel faster. So on this side, looking at the reference photo, she's got some shading here. Just gonna black out her eyes, fill them in for right now. The importance of trying this and using this process for portrait drawing is that it helps you to practice features and the ratios of features to each other. And what you'll find out is that when you freehand draw a face, you are most often making the eyes too big. And so if you practice with this method, like even if I just left it right here, it's a really cool drawing that you could add into your journal. But this method is beneficial for that reason, that it's going to help you make better portraits. You will find that when shading the face, all eyes have a darker shade underneath because of the way your face is made. That is where a shadow occurs, and so some people's are darker than others, but they're always there. That's going to help you add depth and shading to your freehand drawings. So I added that darker color there, and now I'm kind of making this circular motion. And as you can see, this pretty much looks nothing like the drawing that I traced, because there are a few things here and there, like the eyes for one. They're a little bit wider, but that's okay. You could definitely trace the same face over and over and see how many variations you get from it. I'm not trying to make this look like the original right now. Sometimes I do. Sometimes it's easier for it to look, depending on the photo that you're tracing. Sometimes they just come out like so close to the original, and then sometimes they don't. And you just keep going back and forth and adding shadow here and there until you feel like you're done. I like to try and put an even medium tone across the lips. Then I blend it in, and then I'll add my shading. And normally on lips, there's shading here at the corners. It's a little darker. And this doesn't look exactly like the photo either, but that's okay. Blend that in. And she has the shadow right here because of her hair. It's pretty dark right here. It's just practice on shadow and shading and tone. And now we have kind of a stark contrast between the dark shading and then the white of the paper. So what I like to do is, just without adding anything else, I just kind of go very lightly over the whole face, just so that it's not so bright white. And that kind of helps give it a little more natural look. This part here is like her collar thing. So I'll just get that later. I'll just show you the face. And then you can keep going back and adding. For the eyelids, there's one line there where the lashes go, and then there's usually another line farther down. Right now, I'm not even looking at the reference photo anymore. I'm just playing because I've done this several times. So I'm kind of like using my memory on what the eye anatomy looks like. And I will do the same with the shading of her shoulders in a little while. Right now, I think I'll just show you now how I use the Jelly Roll number 8 white gel pen, and I go like this to get it going. And I will add the little white dots for highlights in her eyes. And try to make them look as close to the same as possible. Can add some highlight there. And then I use it to add a highlight on the lip. It's usually kind of little dots that go like this. And then I'll touch it. Sometimes there's a highlight here. Can't really see that. Sometimes there's a highlight on the nose, if you can see it with this. It's not too visible. Sometimes I'll give a little highlight in between the eyelashes. It's fun. And there we have it. I think I'll leave it right here. These do take quite a bit of time, and they're a very good way to practice your faces, for sure. And as you can see, I've mentioned it before, it's not copying, it's a reference. It's using a reference photo, and it almost never looks exactly like the photo, so you're good there if you wanted to reuse your own drawing. Of course, you can do some research on copyright laws and things like that if you're interested in that. So let me show you a quick picture of these next to each other. Okay, so here we go. And here is the shot of these two images next to each other. They're similar, but they don't look exactly alike, and I think it turned out really good. So let me know if you try this method, my my tracing lightbox projector type method, and let me know if you like it and if it helps you with your portrait drawings. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to my channel and liking this video, and I will be back again with another video next week. So thank you. I will see you then. Bye bye.